following program may contain language of an adult nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of alltalkradio.net.
Okay, the celebrity done showed up. The celebrity, Mr. AK, done showed up right now. What's up, everybody? Check my man YouTube channel out. Let's get into it, y'all. All right, man, we got a whole lot to talk about. Man, the biggest week, I was about to say the biggest week, but this is the biggest week pretty much ever. You know what I mean? Instead of saying this is the biggest week in a long time. But anyway, Mayweather versus Pacquiao this weekend is going to be epic. I can't wait to watch it. There's been a lot of fans talking a whole lot of stuff. We're going to get into that. But first things first, before we even talk about Mayweather versus Pacquiao, let's talk about the fights that just took place this past weekend. We're not going to talk about all of them, but we're going to talk about some of the most significant ones. Now, first things first, I want to say congratulations to Saddam Ali. He had a great victory, so congratulations to him. He's on his way. But let's go ahead and start off talking about Badou Jack against Dirrell, Anthony Dirrell. And I want to talk about him first because none of us gave him really a chance. And you know, it's funny because these are the type of fights that I really like, though, because it seems like a fight like this, when you think a guy has no chance at all, and all of a sudden you start watching the fight and it's competitive, it pretty much propels the drama, you know. So I was looking at the fight, oh, man, this is a good fight. I didn't expect that type of fight. I mean, Badou Jack, he had a really good defense, and Anthony Dirrell, he looked very passive. He looked like he was very frustrated because he didn't really see any openings. That's the way I seen it. It seemed to me like he didn't see any openings, so that's why he wasn't really throwing any punches. And it was Badou Jack that was applying the pressure, you know. So he looked real good, man. I was impressed, and I was shocked. What was your take on that fight, Boxing Ego?
Man, I honestly, I like both of them as characters and stuff. I was just thinking Dirrell would probably edge it just because him and his brother are very skilled. But everything you said is true as far as Badou Jack. I think the difference is, like in boxing, you can't underestimate anybody. You know what I mean? And I think Dirrell, this is not an excuse, I think Dirrell thought he was going to walk through this guy and it was going to be easy work. We've seen Badou Jack get knocked out in his only loss. So I think Dirrell kind of, as champion, came in thinking, oh, easy work. But that's not how boxing works. Not everything's easy work. And Badou Jack, people like that, they have the knockout loss hanging over them. So they're like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not eager to see a second loss. And they train. And I thought Badou Jack, he just was putting the work in. He was very just systematically win each round at a time. You know what I mean? You're just winning rounds. And before you know it, I'm like, damn, Dirrell's kind of in a hole. Mm-hmm. And he just, like you said, he looked very passive. He didn't look like the champion in there. He just looked like he couldn't get off his shots. He started to walk down towards the end. And meanwhile, Badou Jack was just systematically putting in rounds in the bank and just putting his work in. I think one thing, if I had a critique, and shout out to the Dirrell brothers and Badou Jack, they all follow me on Instagram and all that. But I think Dirrell fights off emotion a lot of times, and I think that's one thing he should curb. In the Sakio Bika rematch, you know what I'm saying? It was just too emotional, and that's not good for boxing. I think he because the weigh-in was heated and stuff. I think he kind of went into this fight fueled off of emotion, and he never really settled down in the fight, whereas Badou Jack was just putting his rounds in.
Yeah, I mean, he went in. I think he went into the Sakio Bika fight with emotions too. I mean, I was there at the weigh-in; they were pretty fired up. You know, I just think he just wasn't ready for a guy, you know, that had this type of defense, applied that type of pressure. Because once again, like I said, Badou Jack, he was making sure when he was coming forward, he wasn't really making too many mistakes. And you know, once again, I've always been taught you box the banger and you bang the boxer. You know, and Badou, he had the right strategy. He was trying, you know, he might have been just, you know, a little bit timid at times himself, but he was the aggressor. He understood he had to be the aggressor, and Anthony Dirrell, he was trying to box, you know, so that was his downfall. And once again, guys, this just goes to show you, people talk about how easy it is to be undefeated for 18 years and, you know, like anybody could do it. But when we see these fighters lose to guys that they're not supposed to lose to, this proves that it is not that easy to remain undefeated. You know, forget 18 years. How about remaining undefeated or unbeaten? You know, unbeaten for 2 years. You know, so this just goes to show. We've seen a lot of upsets. We've seen a lot of fighters lose to fighters that they weren't supposed to lose to. You know, so that's the way I see it. So, I mean, how did you see it, AK? Is that how you? I'm sure you probably thought that Badou Jack was about to get beat up, right? Or what'd you think?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I honestly didn't even know about Badou Jack. You know, I was really surprised. And like you said, Dante, you know, it's not easy to maintain undefeated. Mm-hmm. And if you could just have an off night and lose that night. And I agree with everything Ego said. You know, I think Dirrell, he underestimated Badou Jack, and Badou Jack, you know, him losing before, he know how that felt. So he came to this fight prepared, and he did what he had to do. So, you know, I was really impressed. And like you said, you know, he had the right strategy, you know, as far as his game plan. And I was shocked, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all were. I mean, that seemed like a very easy prediction to make right there. But yeah, that's what happens, man. When someone gets knocked out, you just never know how they're going to come back. I mean, the way he got knocked out, you know, it looked real bad. I mean, it was the first round. Yeah. It was like the first punch of the fight. But we've seen other fighters get caught cold like that. I mean, John Molina, he got caught cold like that. I think it was against DeMarco Antonio. So, I mean, it's boxing. Anything could happen. That's for sure. So, well, let me go to you, King Youssef. Let's jump to Vladimir Klitschko versus Jennings, man. So your boy Vladimir Klitschko, he gets a 12-round decision. What did you think about his performance, King Youssef?
To be honest, Klitschko didn't impress anyone. Like, the constant holding has been like a big factor with Jennings' camp, because Jennings' trainer, Fred, said like to the ref, like, when are you gonna take a point away from him? Like,
yeah,
Because Jennings actually proved me wrong. Like, he was able to stay in the pocket. If he had a bit more pop to his punches, he could have like stopped Klitschko, because like he was able to go into Klitschko's body, land the hooks, and then throw an overhand left. And he actually surprised me, because like the last rounds, like between fifth and sixth, like he wasn't using his jab, but then he went back using the jab to set up the combos. But for Klitschko, he did what he had to do to win: set up a high guard, use the jab, and those right hands were deadly. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought Jennings was gonna get stopped like in the 12th round. Yeah. But credit to Klitschko, he showed props to Jennings. I would actually love to see him fight Deontay Wilder, someone who has a long reach and like an excellent right hand
and a height
with power and the height. Because like, I don't think Tyson Fury can match Klitschko, because like he has balance issues. Because when he faced against Steve Cunningham, he got like caught with a straight overhand right. But the heavyweight division is coming back right now.
Oh, no doubt about it. I think Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder have a good chance of beating Vladimir Klitschko. Klitschko, he relies too much on his size, his height, and his reach. And he knows, he's already pretty much admitted that he doesn't have the best chin. And he's told people, he said, that's why my job is to make sure they don't touch that chin. And you got to give him credit for that, because he does everything possible to avoid that chin getting touched. You know, so, and like I said, the whole thing with Brian Jennings, he just seemed too small. You know, I mean, he tried his best. It was a good performance. I think he probably should have been just a little bit more aggressive, but I understand how difficult it was. You do have to give a little credit to Vladimir Klitschko, because I did notice Klitschko, he was using them angles, man. I mean, every time Brian Jennings charged in, Klitschko, if he wasn't grabbing you and holding you, he'll grab you, hold you, and then he'll turn you. You know, so it was like bull matador every time Brian Jennings tried to rush in. But, you know, like I said, when it comes to the holding, I think it's ridiculous, boxing ego. And I want you to, you know, give me your thoughts on this, boxing ego. People try to say, oh, he does the same thing that Floyd Mayweather does, or he does the same thing that that Andre Ward does. I mean, first of all, before I let you talk, ego, if you show me one Floyd Mayweather fight, you just show me one whole round. Matter of fact, show me a couple of fights. That's more fair. Show me a couple of fights where Floyd Mayweather was just constantly grabbing, and that was his main strategy, to just hold, you know, and he's not really trying to fight out of, you know, the clinch or anything like that. That's his main strategy, to do nothing but holding. See, that what I was telling people in my video is when Floyd Mayweather is in the center of the ring, and this is how most boxers perform, you know, what they do. When they get in the center of the ring, they are normally at their best, or usually at their best, right? That's when they feel comfortable, is when they're in the center of the ring. Now, a lot of boxers, when their back is against the ropes, that's when you may see them clinch a lot, like Matisse versus Ruslan Provodnikov. You know, he did a lot of holding. Every time Matisse's back touched the ropes, he was grabbing Provodnikov. You know, so I mean, what do you think? What do you think about that comparison, boxing ego?
What did Roger Mayweather say? Most people don't
know shit about boxing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to even fix your lips to make a comparison between Klitschko, okay, you can say they're long-reigning champions. That's about the only comparison. Stylistically, we're talking about a guy 6'6", 250 pounds versus a guy who's agile at 147, so basically 100 pounds lighter, who moves like water. No comparison. Like, I don't understand. People take one. This happens. Like, people used to say, like, oh, you look like this person and this person, and I really don't look like them, but they may have the same complexion or the same height as me, so they'll just say I look like that person. That's what people do in boxing. They say, oh, Floyd clinched, so Klitschko clinched. It's the same. There's a lot of particulars in boxing. Just because two people do a certain thing, it's not always about the action. It's how they do it. And the thing is, people don't know. Like, a lot of people hate Floyd. They don't really know how he fights. Floyd, the thing that makes him a difficult opponent is he gives you different looks. He doesn't just clinch. Like, even if he clinches a lot in a particular round, he might come back the next round and walk you down. You know what I'm saying? So they fight nothing alike. I did think Klitschko clearly won the fight. The 11th and 12th solidified that. But it's the type of fight like Lamont Peterson and Danny Garcia, in the sense that the loser is not really a loser. If anything, Jennings' stock went up, because before the fight, people were saying this is some Rocky IV shit. They're saying, oh, this is Ivan Drago versus Apollo Creed, and I'm going to break you. You know what I'm saying? They were saying stuff like that. So since he didn't get broken and knocked out, didn't even get knocked down by a powerful guy with a great jab who's bigger than him, had really every advantage except for the location of the fight was closer to where Jennings is from. And I think it really benefits Jennings that he went the distance, and he showed some flaws in Klitschko. And I told people this a long time ago. Guys like Deontay Wilder especially, they're athletic, powerful guys, and they can match him in the height and closer to the weight department. That's an interesting fight. And like you said, Tyson Fury, I don't rate him as high, but just since it's a guy that's his size, a Klitschko's size, that's an interesting fight because he's a strong guy and he's around the same size. If you're a guy like, you know what I mean, like maybe a Tommy Morrison build, Steve Cunningham, like a 6-foot guy, then you're gonna have a hard time getting on the inside unless you're just like Tyson strong with that type of head movement. But if you're around his height and you can pop, that's a good fight to me.
Yeah, and not only that, but I kind of look at it like the video game Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, where you have your health meter.
Or you can.
There you go. Finish him, you know. but basically, in those type of games, you have a health meter, right? And we all know normally everyone else they go in there with a full health bar, right? But with Vladimir Klitschko, because of his chin, it's almost like he's starting with a meter, you know, half full. So the whole thing is, even if Tyson Fury is not as gifted and doesn't have the type of pedigree that Vladimir Klitschko has, if he's landing punches, more punches than Vladimir is used to getting hit with, we could see a different type of fight, you know, and we could see a fight where Klitschko could end up getting knocked down, which he hasn't been knocked down in a couple fights. But, yeah, man, it's all about protecting that chin, and I believe someone like Tyson would probably touch Vladimir more than he's used to getting touched. And, of course, I believe Deontay Wilder would, you know. So, Deontay.
But you have to – I was going to say real quick, you have to take in consideration Brian Jennings is a guy with, I think, less than 18 amateur fights.
Yeah.
He fought –
only been fighting for 6 years. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, 6 years. So, I mean, everything's a different ballgame. Tyson Fury's been boxing. His dad was a father. That's how he got the name Tyson, because his dad was a boxer and liked Mike Tyson a lot. So, you know what I mean? Boxing's been in his family. Deontay Wilder, a bronze. He placed bronze, even though he was a late bloomer, too. So these are all interesting fights with true big men that could all be listed as super heavyweight instead of what I would consider just a regular heavyweight.
No, excellent point. And before I'll let you talk, A-Rap, I also want to touch on what you said earlier, Boxing Eagle. You basically was talking about Floyd Mayweather, you know, is fighting at 147. He's agile versus a guy who's 250 pounds and is usually bigger, like he was, you know, bigger than Brian Jennings. The difference is Floyd Mayweather is usually, when he does hold, like I would probably say we've seen him hold more in the Maidana fight than any other fight. But Maidana was almost 20 pounds bigger than Floyd Mayweather. It wasn't like Vladimir Klitschko where, you know, Floyd was the bigger guy. Floyd was in there 20 pounds bigger than his opponent, you know. So, I mean, you have to look at stuff like that, you know. And the Andre Ward comparison, understand this as well. Andre Ward, even if he ties you up, Andre Ward, he fights in the clinch. And he gets a lot done even if he's holding you. You know, he'll go in the inside and he'll rip your body. He'll come out of the clinch hitting you with hooks, uppercuts, and break you down, right? But when Vladimir Klitschko, when he's holding to get the referee to stop the attack, stop the assault, you know? So, yeah, man.
Hey, Dante, I got to add this because you said that real quick. Now, what you said was an excellent point, and this is the thing. There's, like, guys like B-Hop, Amir Khan, Floyd Mayweather, I think they all have, like, little subtle, you can quote-unquote dirty veteran tricks. You know what I mean? Just little things. Like Bernard Hopkins does little things to get in the pocket and things like that. Now, this is the difference. I think Andre Ward does the clinch thing, but he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to rely. If you watch the Edwin Rodriguez fight, they were both getting, like, stern warnings, and I think they both got a point taken away. And then Andre Ward went back to just more traditional boxing because he knows he didn't want to get disqualified. Versus Vladimir Klitschko, it's like he has to do those things.
He has to rely on it.
If you get away from him and you take a point from him, he looks like it fucked up his whole game plan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, after he got warned again, and then they took a point, it looked like it messed up his whole, like, game plan in mind. Like, he was, like, mindful of it, and he didn't really have another way. That's his way. That's kind of like his way to his key to victory.
No, and see, now I got to say something else because you just said that. And this is something that I think Brian Jennings didn't take advantage of, because once the referee took a point away from Vladimir, obviously, you know, he like you said, he looked uncomfortable. You know, he looked like something was wrong with him. He was worried. He was out of the zone, right? Now, when he felt that way, how come Brian Jennings didn't apply more pressure? You know, because the whole thing is now, you know, his back against the wall. Klitschko, his back against the wall, he can't grab anymore. So that's when Brian Jennings should have been really jumping on him with the inside work, forcing him to basically grab, you know, and possibly have more points deducted. But realistically, I mean, all the grabbing that he does, I agree with Harold Letterman. They could have started the deductions, in the warnings in the first round, because that's what Harold Letterman said. I mean, if the referees was really doing their job, they could have easily DQ'd Vladimir Klitschko in some of, in a couple of his fights, actually, not even just this one, So, Arab King, are you still there? I hear somebody. Sound like somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so man, what do you think should be next for Vladimir Klitschko? What do you want to see? You want to see Klitschko Tyson? You want to see Klitschko Wilder, or what?
Yeah, I mean, Tyson or Wilder will be perfect, at this point. I mean, first I would rather see Wilder versus Fury because of the trash talk. Both of them are trash talkers. And, Shan Briggs could go ahead and fight Klitschko. And then the winner of that fight the winner of Wilder versus Fury. Both of the fights will be entertaining before and after the fight and during the fight. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
if that happens, in the perfect world. So so if that takes place, man, that'd be great for me, But as far as the Jennings fight, Klitschko, the way he throws two jabs, then holds, or throws two jabs and a right hand, and he lands, then holds, it just makes me sick, man.
Yeah.
But, he does what he has to do to win the fight, but it's not like when people compare him to Floyd, he's not fighting a guy who's 300 pounds, and he's bigger than him, and he holding him because of that. Like, he's fighting guys who's 220, and he still has to hold them. So there's no comparison. You can't compare the skill level between both guys, man. But, people going to try to hate as much any way possible.
I mean, because if you wanted to make an accurate comparison, you probably should have compared him to someone like a Carlos Molina, because those are the type of guys that clinch, like I said, where they truly rely on clinching. It's not just a part of their strategy. That is their strategy. Like Boxing Eagle said, once Vladimir Klitschko couldn't hold anymore, he looked lost in the ring. He completely looked lost, and it's unfortunate that for Brian Jennings that he didn't take advantage of that, because he could have really forced the referee to take more points, and so it is what it is. But anyway.
If Jennings would have more stick to the body, just frustrating him like how Santana did to Ali, he could have even won by points, or even dropped Klitschko.
Yeah.
Because Jennings got a little bit pop. But he's I think he was a bit timid to just go in because he knows Klitschko has a monstrous right hand combo, which he kind of sets up because he did the Eurofighter pull-up, he just broke him down and then finished him off with the left hook.
Yeah. Well,
he solely relies on the reach.
Yeah, he relies on the reach. He relies on the holding. All of that, all of the above. And once, one more time to reiterate, Brian Jennings, if he would have just jumped on Vladimir Klitschko after the referee took a point, he would have had a better chance to win. So let's go ahead and move on. And I want to get everyone's breakdown. If we could fit it all in, get everyone's breakdown for Mayweather versus Pacquiao. But before we talk about that, let's first go ahead and talk about the wonderful decafs that exist in the sport of boxing and, and some of the stuff that they come up with every day, So, Boxing Eagle, first thing I want to ask you, man, this is what I don't understand. And all you guys, you guys can give your take on this as well, but I'm going to start with Ego. I don't understand, why do fans who hate Floyd Mayweather's guts, why do they constantly sit over here and make it seem like everybody else actually loves Floyd Mayweather so much to where they would rather pick him to win the fight, even if he's getting his ass whooped? Apparently to these decafs, the judges love Floyd Mayweather, USADA, VADA, and everybody else, they just love Floyd Mayweather. And I guess what? They don't like Manny Pacquiao? I mean, how does this make any sense that people are saying that if the fight is close, they're going to give all those rounds to Floyd Mayweather? Because they're going to try to rob Manny Pacquiao. Have we ever seen the judges treat Floyd Mayweather this well, Boxing Ego?
Well, first I got to start off by saying Floyd Mayweather's a son of a bitch. Second,
we was going to get to that too, that son of a bitch.
according to Lampley, it's because Floyd's a son of a bitch. Now, obviously, it's just a lot of excuses. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Let me get my Paulie Malignaggi on. It's excuses. Because at the end of the day, it's like you should have faith and ride for your person no matter what. Mm-hmm. We haven't even started, we haven't seen the weigh-ins, and people are already, speculating and coming out with conspiracy theories. Kenny Bayless did it.
Yeah.
Would you rather have Skip Bayless as the referee? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't have any. If Skip Bayless was the ref, they probably wouldn't have any type of problems with that, even though Skip has showed known bias, and Kenny Bayless hasn't. He's refed a lot of Pacquiao fights and Mayweather as well as others. So
that's a good point.
A lot of excuses. A lot of excuses where people. It's just, I guess, the fear. Fear gets to them. I've never seen Floyd, he can't even get a fair shake in terms of commentary, let alone judging.
Yeah.
I've seen, literally, and this is how I know for a fact. Sometimes when I, have extra time, I'll watch videos on YouTube, just old, not just Floyd videos, anybody, old classic boxing, and listen to what some of the comments they're saying. It's like HBO didn't really do a good job of giving Floyd credit. That's why I think the move to Showtime was easier for him, to be perfectly honest, and that's why he blew up on Larry Merchant at one time.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised it took so long. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying I never really see him get impartial treatment post fight. Larry Merchant would say stuff like, "The fans are booing. Why was that so boring for us to watch?" You know what I'm saying? No congratulations, no regular. You know what I'm saying? Who else do they do that to? So it's clear as day people hate him. So they're coming up with the judges, the Kenny Bayless. I remember Floyd was pictured with Todd DeBuff, the stepson of Bob Arum with Top Rank. They said they're walking down the street conspiring to rob Manny Pacquiao. Why are you thinking all these negative thoughts? And how can they rob Floyd if he gets knocked, or how can they rob Pacquiao if he knocks Floyd out?
Exactly.
Why do you care about the judges if he knocks Floyd out, which is some of the comments that I'm reading. They're saying, oh, easy work for Pacquiao, he'll knock Floyd out. So why do you have all these concerns about judging and robbery and scorecards if that's the case? If anything, I've seen I have seen Pacquiao robbed in the Bradley fight, but it wasn't as one-sided as they made it look. But I thought Pacquiao won that first one too. But Canelo Mayweather, that was really one-sided, and they C.J. Ross said it was a draw with Canelo.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah, and you made a good point. If you said exactly what I was about to say, pretty much repeat what you said. Skip Bayless. If Skip Bayless was actually refereeing the fight, it wouldn't matter. It still wouldn't matter. Floyd Mayweather would still most likely, put on the same type of performance. It wouldn't matter if Manny Pacquiao's mom was one of the judges and she was putting hexes at Floyd Mayweather while he was doing, his thing. It probably still wouldn't matter. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but you guys get the point, though. If Guillermo Rigo fought against Leo Santa Cruz, it wouldn't matter if Dan Rafael and Steve Kim and whoever else who probably hates Guillermo Rigo was actually judging the fight. I still think Leo Santa Cruz will win. I still think Guillermo Rigo will win. And maybe I shouldn't say that if they were judging. I should say if they were refereeing the fight, because that's the perfect comparison with Bayless situation, Skip Bayless situation. But like I said, though, I'm mixing the names up. What is this? It is Skip Bayless. What's the other one? What's the other dude's name from First Take again? It's
Kenny.
Huh?
Kenny Bayless.
No, Kenny Bayless.
Yeah,
My bad. Okay, so like I said, that was the comparison. I was comparing him to Kenny Bayless. And like I said, if Skip Bayless, was refereeing the fight, it wouldn't make a difference. Floyd Mayweather would still put on the same performance. So I'm rambling on right now. But anyway, let's go ahead.
Hey, Dante.
Huh?
Dante, I just want to say, I proposed the same question, and nobody's been able to answer it. People are going to listen to this, and they say, oh, you're biased for Floyd. Yet, when I ask this question, no one answers it. So, when has Kenny Bayless done a terrible job refereeing? People hate him as the pick, and they said it favors Floyd. Oscar said it favors Floyd, etc. Even though Kenny Bayless has ref, I believe, more fights for Pacquiao, no one had a problem with Kenny Bayless when he was refereeing Pacquiao versus Hatton.
Excellent
Pacquiao
point.
versus Mosley. Pacquiao versus Morales, I think 2. Eric Morales versus Barrera 3, Danny Garcia versus Amir Khan. He refed all of those fights, Mayweather Canelo, and nobody had a problem with Kenny Bayless's style of refereeing. The only problem that I heard complaints is the Maidana 2 rematch, and a lot of people say that's because of the first one was perceived as a dirty, rough type of fight, so he might have been overly cautious, and he did step in probably more than people would have liked. But aside from that sole example, when has Kenny Bayless turned in like just a bullshit refereeing job?
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
A lot of people are playing the race card as well. They're like saying, "Oh, he favors," because when Oscar De La Hoya said Kenny Bayless favors Floyd Mayweather, everyone was like just blowing it out of proportion. I mean, hands down, Kenny Bayless is the best referee right now. Like,
that's why he's getting why he's getting all the assignments.
Okay, so who does Kenny Bayless favor in Amir Khan versus Danny Garcia? Since neither of them are black.
Exactly.
Not Amir Khan. So it's
exactly.
That's weird.
And Kenny Bayless is known for being a big Manny Pacquiao fan too, right? I mean,
and he refereed Pacquiao versus Bradley too. What type of favoritism did the black man get? What bald black Bradley? What favoritism did he get in the Bradley 2 fight?
Excellent.
That was a very fair fight.
There it is.
This is the thing. It's not like Pacquiao is an inside fighter. It's going to push for an inside fight that's going to cause Floyd Mayweather to hold the whole fight. Pacquiao fighting the distance too.
Hey,
Pacquiao holds in the inside more than Floyd.
Yeah.
So don't be Floyd Mayweather not Floyd, but Pacquiao start holding even more. So I mean, I don't see what people are saying. Oh, he's gonna, he's gonna be Floyd the whole time because he's gonna be, breaking the fight. I'm telling you, Pacquiao gonna hold more probably.
Yeah. Oh, well, like I said, especially if Floyd Mayweather's going on the inside. If Floyd starts walking down Manny Pacquiao, you're gonna see a lot of holding from Manny Pacquiao, because like I said, in the Tim Bradley fight, that's what it was. Tim Bradley was coming forward and Manny Pacquiao was grabbing him. He did the same thing in the Brandon Rios fight. The double centers, of course, are ridiculous because everyone keeps saying Floyd is just going to run. He's just a coward and, he's going to punk out and all this kind of stuff. I interviewed Freddie Roach, and Freddie Roach, he openly told me that, we're going to box. Yeah, we're going to move in the ring. But it's like, even if Freddie Roach says that, they completely ignore it, and they continue to say that Floyd is the one that's going to move. He's the one that's going to run, because realistically, deep down, they know that it's not true. It's therapeutic for them. It just makes them feel better to say it. It just makes them feel better to say it. That's why, like I said, Jim Lampley, he couldn't hold it in, and he just yelled out, "Son of a bitch." You know what I mean? He called him a son of a bitch. He tried his best to hold it in, but he couldn't hold it in, And like I said,
Bernard Hopkins was interviewed this week. He told him in boxing right now, these men are getting more emotional than the women.
Yeah.
It's it just clouds their judgment. I'm getting messages saying I'm gonna kill myself if Pacquiao loses. I'm gonna cut this off. I was like, people are crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy. It's crazy. But
the fact that you would even say that is something's wrong with you to begin with.
Of course, definitely. We know this already. But you know what, man? We got so much to talk about, but we got about 10 minutes left. So let's try to fit it in this 10 minutes and get everyone's breakdown. I'll start off with myself. Guys, I truly believe that the first 4 rounds may look a lot like Mayweather versus Victor Ortiz. I believe Floyd Mayweather is going to remain in the center of the ring. Pacquiao, he's going to try to jump in, and once he realizes how difficult it is when he falls off balance and he's open for counters, that's going to put him back into Pacquiao Marquez mode to where he's going to be forced to think. So those first 4 rounds or first 5 rounds, I believe Floyd Mayweather is going to be picking them apart with the right hand. The more frustrated Manny Pacquiao gets in the later rounds, if Pacquiao doesn't land that left hand early and surprise everyone and hurts Floyd, because that is possible. But if he doesn't land that left hand and get some damage, inflict some damage, in the later rounds, Floyd Mayweather walks him down, and I think the fight will look a lot like Mayweather versus Zab Judah. I think the fight will look very similar, but Zab Judah had a better defense Zab had a better defense than Manny Pacquiao, so I believe that Floyd's going to be trying to walk him down like he did with Zab Judah, but he's going to create more damage because Manny Pacquiao doesn't have that type of defense that Zab Judah has. I think the body punches may hurt him, may even drop him, and if the body punches don't hurt him, he may be getting hit with so many body punches, he may drop his hands, and then Floyd may start catching him with some hooks up top. And I have to agree with my man Zab Judah. I wouldn't be surprised if Freddie Roach even starts to hint to Manny Pacquiao, look, if you don't do better, we're going to have to stop this fight, Manny. So that's how I see the fight. Boxing Ego, give us your take.
Well, I'm glad the fight's happening first and foremost. Props to both. I don't think Pacquiao is a pushover, but I think a lot of people will be surprised for the simple fact of, it's more surprising when you don't think that when the unexpected happens. You know what I mean? Everybody's raving about Pacquiao's power, which he does have pop, but a lot of you notice the montage, HBO montage, a lot of the clips that they show for the press conference in between when they're waiting for the fighters to hit the stage, a lot of that is from early Pacquiao, when he was running through guys, Cottos and De La Hoya, Hattons and stuff. Those are more of his premier knockouts and stuff. And a lot of people are just talking about Pacquiao's left, which is powerful, deadly weapon, one of the best. His straight left is probably the best in the business. But it's more surprising when a lot of people are saying Floyd's feather-fisted and he can't punch and this and stuff. So when you see Manny Pacquiao gun-shy and hesitant, I think that's going to surprise people. I think, and like I said, a lot of people are just putting focus on Manny's power, his left, and all of his strength, and then they're just saying Floyd's feather-fisted, but they're forgetting Floyd is an accurate guy. His right hands are accurate, and I think the right hand is going to ultimately tell the tale in this fight. They're going to be definite. Pacquiao's, like I said, he's not a pushover. You've seen him get knocked down in the Marquez 4 fight, got right back up and started really bullying Marquez after he got his senses. So I think Pacquiao's game, he has the endurance, but I think Mayweather's precision, his right, his accuracy, the Pacquiao, I've seen him leap off of his feet, off of the camp, no feet are touching the canvas. Those that's not, it's unorthodox as hell. And against a guy with good footwork like Mayweather, I just think Mayweather can make Pacquiao capitalize, or he could capitalize off of those Pacquiao mistakes. You know what I mean? Whereas guys like Bradley, great fighter, but I don't know if he was able to process as quickly as Mayweather. And I really just don't see Mayweather getting struck down with single shots. Maybe a knockdown, but not knocked out from a single shot. You know what I mean? He took Shane Mosley's flush shot in that. So Pacquiao's really going to have to put the pressure on, and Mayweather seems to get better when the pressure's on. So I just think Mayweather's right, his accuracy is really going to be a defining point.
Excellent breakdown. AK, how's it going to go down, man? 5 minutes left. We got 5 minutes left, guys.
Yeah, one thing in this fight, man, that I truly believe is controlling the distance and being in the right position at the right time. Who could do that? And to me, that's Floyd Mayweather all day. The first 3 rounds, it's going to be, I think it's going to be very competitive. It could go either way. But after 3, 4, after that, I think Floyd Mayweather are going to, start dominating. And his right hand, I truly believe, is going to do the job. And also his left hook. Floyd Mayweather got a great left hook. And against a southpaw, that's very effective. But like I said, Pacquiao likes to fight in the distance. Floyd Mayweather likes to fight in the distance. If Pacquiao, he has to be able to get in the right distance to land his shots. If Floyd Mayweather is able to control the distance and be in the right position, when Pacquiao slides to the left or to the right, and counter him and take advantage of Pacquiao mistakes, Pacquiao going to be in trouble because sometimes, like Ego pointed out, Pacquiao will move and his legs be in the air. So, even when he comes in. So it's going to be very interesting. But like I said, I think Floyd Mayweather, his reach, he got longer reach. His right hand is too accurate, his defense. But I truly believe Floyd Mayweather won't fight in the Philly shell defense most of the time. He's going to have his hands up due to the fact that Pacquiao is a southpaw, and the left hand, if Floyd Mayweather goes to a Philly shell, his Pacquiao left hand could land. And also, I don't see Floyd Mayweather landing on the ropes too many times because, that's going to give Pacquiao a hell of an advantage, because Pacquiao, you normally see Pacquiao throw a lot of combinations when he have his opponent on the ropes. He takes an angle and throws a lot of combos. So I don't see Floyd Mayweather rope is open. I just see him, just fighting kind of like the Guerrero fight, but more sharper, because he's taking this fight. He said it himself. This is the fight that he wants to win like never before. Like there's no tomorrow. So that's why I'm picking him. And like I said, the main two things for me is going to be controlling distance and being in the right position at the right time.
Excellent breakdown, guys. Excellent breakdown. King Youssef, we got about a couple minutes left. If you could do it real quick, man, give me your take, man.
Recently, I've been watching tapes of both fighters, especially when Pacquiao fought Tim Bradley again. I forwarded to the round where Bradley caught Pacquiao straight clean, and he picked up Pacquiao easy. For Floyd, he's been taking the fight seriously. He's been going thoroughbred training, and the most important thing about this fight is controlling distance, who can execute their jab, who can is kind of control the pace of the fight, and Floyd's the best at it. It'll be similar to how Zab Judah was kind of blistering Floyd with hand speed and everything, but Pacquiao, he always has the tendency to throw out the game plan, just go for broke. And then, similar to what happened to him against Marquez, I could see him getting dropped early in the fight, and Floyd just pop shot him and then just breaking him down easily. But Pacquiao has the left hand, which is a danger, and when that thing lands, it wakes up fighters. Just how Shane Mosley said, I felt dizzy after he landed the left hand. But I believe Floyd Mayweather is gonna make the adjustment and then just neutralize all of Pacquiao's
weapons arsenal.
Yeah. It'll be Judgment Day. Saturday night.
It will definitely be Judgment Day, and I'm saying, man, body. That's what I see, man. I see ribs getting cracked this Saturday. I can't wait.
A lot of people don't give Floyd the credit for his body work actually pushed Maidana back. Maidana said after he landed the body shots, I felt zap of air coming out of me.
Well, you said Maidana said that?
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me. But like I said, I truly believe, Manny Pacquiao, he is a great fighter, but I think he's actually more open than Maidana was actually. I think, Maidana has a deceptive style. He looks like this wild brawler that's easy to hit, but he's actually in there thinking, and that's the reason why he gave Floyd Mayweather some problems. I think Manny Pacquiao is going to be wide open to the body. I think Floyd Mayweather is going to be going to the body and then coming back up with uppercuts and hooks. We've seen Manny Pacquiao get hit with a lot of uppercuts. We've seen him get caught with hooks. We've seen him get caught with a lot of check hooks against Bradley. Bradley was shorter than Manny Pacquiao, and he was catching Manny Pacquiao with counter hooks as he was coming in. He was.
Dante, real quick, the other thing people don't realize, Maidana, I think he's more of a one punch can really change things type of fighter. Pacquiao more of an accumulation puncher.
That's true.
He has power, but Maidana has power to hurt welterweights with one single shot and finish them.
And he was and he was 20 pounds. And he was 20 pounds bigger than Floyd, compared to, once again, Manny Pacquiao, who's going to be the same size as Floyd Mayweather. So that's what it is, guys.
I just want to say one thing.
Real quick, we're running out of time.
Pacquiao is very vulnerable for that straight right. That's going to be Floyd Mayweather killer punch. That straight right, I'm telling y'all. When Pacquiao runs to it, man, Pacquiao is just, he don't got no defense for that. I just want to put that out there.
Just like how Marquez knocked him out. He'll be open to it. He likes to just pop shot with his head.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be just massive, monstrous.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, on that note, we got to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to say for my DBN panel, King Youssef, Boxing Ego, Arab King, your boy, Dante's Boxing Nation. We'll see you guys next week. Did I say Boxing Ego? All right, y'all. See y'all next week.